formula. So most of us would know this as the minus b formula. So first thing we're going to look at is what is the minus b formula and when do we use it. So the minus b formula is given to us. It's on the very front cover of the log table, so you don't even need to go look for it. And it allows you to find x. So it allows you to find what x is without having to use any kind of factorizing. And this is the formula here, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This bit here in the middle, this plus and minus bit, all that means is that really they didn't write this out twice. They want you to do the whole sum with a plus first, and then they want you to do the whole sum again, and then you just use the minus there in the middle rather than the plus. So that's what the difference is there. When do we use this? So you use this when anything is equal to 0. So if you have any quadratic equal to 0. So quadratic has the form of x squared and then an x and then a number. Okay, so there's an example of a quadratic, but it has to be equal to 0. Another example, 3x squared minus 10x plus 11 equals 0. There's another quadratic. Minus 18x plus 12x minus 84. There's another quadratic. So they're all quadratics. As long as you have an x squared, an x, and a number equals 0, you can use this formula here. Now the other thing to note is you can use factorizing to do this a lot of the time. However, there's certain stages when you cannot use factorizing. You have to use this. The times when you're going to know that is when they use these two kind of sentences here. If they say solve to certain decimal places, 2 decimals, 3 decimals, 4 decimals, that's one hint that you have to use the minus b formula. The second, then, if they say leave your answer in surd form, that should say surd form, not sure form. So surd form. So either of those, you must use the quadratic formula. So the question that we're going to use is going to say solve to correct to 2 decimal places. So 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places, then that means that I must use the quadratic formula. So first step is write out the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And again, you get that on the front cover of your log tables. Second part then is to write out what a, b, and c is. And we get a, b, and c from this bit here. A is the first one, b is the second, and c is the third. Make sure you take the sign, but don't take the x. So we don't want any x's in here. We're not going to be able to put it in the calculator. So make sure that I'll write this here. Take the sign, so the minus or the plus, don't take the x. So when I'm taking the values from this, I am going to be taking the value of a is equal to 2, b is equal to minus 5, and c is equal to minus 10. And they're the values that I'm going to be subbing in up here. So when I go to sub them in, I'm going to write minus, and in for b goes a minus 5. Everything goes inside a bracket. Plus and minus, again, I'm just too lazy to write this out twice. B squared, that's minus 5 in a bracket again, squared. Minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is minus 10. And you put that all over 2 times 2. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put 2 little arrows out of it, and now I'm splitting up these parts here. One was plus and the other is minus. And all I'm going to do from here is I'm going to put this whole thing into the calculator with a plus. I'm then going to go press the back button on my calculator, and then I'm going to just change this plus to be a minus rather than writing out the entire thing again. And when I do that, I'm going to get x equals 3.8, and I'm going to get x equals minus 1.3. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just change this to 1 decimal place because I accidentally got 1 decimal rather than 2. So I'm going to change this to be 1 just so I have the right answer done here for us. So 1 decimal place. So that is how you're using your quadratic formula. And again, make sure that you do get the right one of these when you're doing it.